Hey, what's going on, guys? First episode of the WaveDrop podcast here. You know what? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves. So, first off, my name is Ryan. I'm 16. I am still in high school like a loser. Just kidding, kids. Always go to school. Um, I'm the tech genius here. I figure out all the tech stuff, recording the podcast, editing it together, and also one of the main hosts. Now, the other main host of this podcast is Lizzie. Here you go, Lizzie. Lizzie's also my girlfriend. She can introduce herself. All right, you can go now.
Hi, I'm Lizzie. I'm also 16 and still in high school. I guess I'm smart. I'm not a tech genius. I know nothing about tech except for how my phone works. Um, I like to play video games, but not a lot because I'm dumb. That's about it.
Hey, you're not dumb. I also play video games. Um, so we have a few topics to talk about today. Since it's our first podcast, we're gonna, go through, try to figure out what we're doing, and obviously the second episodes and into the future will be better. We're gonna try to go for as long as possible, probably an hour if possible. I feel like
We're gonna try,
an hour is a good podcast mark, but if not, it'll probably be like over 30 minutes at least.
hopefully.
Because
We have a lot of topics.
I feel like we could talk about online school being trash for at least 30 minutes, but
Oh, definitely.
you know what? So first, we introduced ourselves. I think next I'm gonna go, what's a big topic right now? I would say, since we're both gamers, even though we've only watched like an hour or so of Cyberpunk, I'm gonna go into that first. So, Cyberpunk.
Sounds good.
I don't know if you guys have heard it. Lizzie, you could chime in at any time you want, but
Cyberpunk
Cyberpunk.
is a game that just came out
Yeah,
today,
it's a
actually, on December 9th, 2020. It's a single player story game. It's called Cyberpunk 2077, so it takes place in the future,
way in the future.
way in the future, 57 years from now,
We
actually.
still don't have flying cars apparently, but whatever.
Okay, you can take over.
So from the few like hours or so that we've watched of Cyberpunk, honestly, I'm not a big single player fan. I'm more Call of Duty, shoot a whole bunch of people, Valorant, CS:GO, that kind of stuff. Always like to be in the
In the
the
moment.
action, in the moment, the action. Okay. Cyberpunk looks like a decent game if you are a single player type of person. If you like to sit there and like basically be interactive in a movie, I feel like that's what Cyberpunk kind of is. It's more involved. You have to go through a whole bunch of stories. You have to figure out different clues. I've been watching Shroud play it for a little bit. If you guys know who Shroud is, I wouldn't say it's his main type of game, but he's pretty good at it. Even though it's mostly just him shooting r- regular things.
I actually was watching Jacksepticeye play it for a little bit, and he didn't really get far when I stopped watching because he like just started. But I don't know. It's not my type of game because I also like multiplayer games like Call of Duty. So
But I do have another problem with Cyberpunk today. So I was just watching Tim the Tatman, if you guys know who he is in the audience. Um, he he's also a big streamer that usually gets early access to games. And he just said on his stream that he thinks it's unfair that some streamers get early access while others don't. So for comparison here, Dr. Lupo, a very big streamer, last year donated over $20 million to St. Jude Foundation.
what a great
He
man.
he was all ready to stream the game this morning, get into it, give his audience a good game. But he didn't get it. He didn't get early access, so he's sitting there not playing anything right now, not even streaming because of how sad he is. Then you have Shroud, for
And
example. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and other like big streamers like Shroud and Jacksepticeye are getting to play it early. And even like not as big streamers, like small streamers like Jericho, a streamer we like to watch, he doesn't get early access either. So he has to wait until later on to play. which I agree is totally unfair and that everyone should get it at the same time, but that's just my opinion.
And also the unfair things are um that these streamers that got these games don't even really play story games. Like I feel like Shroud never plays story games. He's always action games, like DayZ, Tarkov, Call of Duty, like these kind of games where
Like
he's always
first person
shooting
shooter
people.
games.
Yes, exactly. Where where people like Dr. Lupo, he plays single player games all the time. I mean, Destiny could be a multiplayer game too, but you could also play it by yourself like a story game.
So does Jericho. He plays single player games all the time, like
Yeah,
those horror games, single player horror games. He
yeah,
plays those a lot.
Jericho plays those all the time. Um, so I don't think it's necessarily fair that streamers, just because of how big they are and how much clout they could give the game, got it first. When the streamers that would actually enjoy playing it will get it when the general public gets it. So that's not fair. But yeah, if you like first person games and you think that it would be a game for you, I mean, I would recommend picking it up. But
Definitely a
for me
game you should play.
personally, it's definitely just a just another
Just
old
a
game that I.
game, just a game you might enjoy watching once in a while.
Yes, exactly. Oh, wait, there's one more thing I want to bring up on the fact of unfairness when releasing titles. When Tim was talking about it, his chat was like, "But didn't you get Call of Duty for free?" I mean, for early access to show to people before a whole bunch of other streamers, and he said yes, and his chat thinks it's the same thing. Now, I don't think it's necessarily the same thing because, like a story game, it's like a movie, so the same thing is always gonna happen. So I feel like when you get early access to and people watch it, it's kind of like a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah, it kind of like spoils it.
But Call of Duty, many different things could happen when you're playing it. Nothing the same ever happens, so I feel like it's not really the same thing because you're not really spoiling anything. There's so many different things could take place in a game like Call of Duty or action games, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
While we're
Would
on the topic of gaming, I think we should bring up the Valorant
the
First
Valorant
Strike.
First Strike final.
That happened on Sunday, the 6th of December. You can talk about it because I don't really
Am
know
I?
much about Valorant.
Oh,
Sorry, I'll
okay.
chime
No,
in.
no.
I'll chime in a little
Okay.
bit, but I'm not a
So
big Valorant player.
on Sunday, the First Strike final was held by Riot Games themselves. It was 100 Thieves in TSM. Right off the bat, 100 Thieves took the lead in this Valorant final 2-0. Now, mind you, that two players on the Valorant team are 17, which is absolutely incredible to think that 17-year-olds could compete to this level. There's also an older player called Hiko. Hiko is more older. I think he's either in his late 20s, early 30s. And most people would say in the pro scene, that's pretty old. Um, like at that point, he shouldn't really be competing anymore. But he obviously held his own during the tournament, which I will get to. So, like I said, right off the bat, 100 Thieves got a 2-0 lead, and I believe that Steel and Hiko put the team on their back because Steel gets a lot of the elims, and Hiko, every time he clutched and he needed to clutch for his team to win a round, he won it. The first map was split. 100 Thieves won 15-3, but they were down at half. They came
15 to
back later.
13.
15-13. What did I say? 50-30?
15 to 3.
Okay. 15-13. My bad. Statistically, TSM was supposed to win the first map because TSM was more comfortable on split, but TSM ended up taking it.
They took that fat L,
TSM did take that fat L.
unfortunately.
100 Thieves did end up winning 2 out of 5 in their arsenal, and then 100 Thieves on the third map that was Ascent ended up winning that match. So match 4 ended up back on split for 100 Thieves, and this is where 100 Thieves took it all. Later scene, the founder and CEO of 100 Thieves, Nade Shot, he tweeted, "Christmas came early. Thanks for the wrapped present at Nitro, Asuna, Dicey, Josh Nissan, and Hiko. Those were all the players of the 100 Thieves team, and the picture was Nate Shot holding the Valorant First Strike trophy, which did actually look pretty cool, by the way. If you haven't seen that, I would go look it up on Google. Uh,
Nate Shot was very happy that they brought home that fat W.
yeah, because this
It was
was
like a big risk and a big investment.
this was the first time that 100 Thieves competed in a tournament. This was, I'm pretty sure, their first ever team play, I should say.
Which is a
Um,
really big deal.
um, and actually, I'm pretty sure Valorant competitive will definitely go for a long time. Now, people may say the game is dead, this and that, but between the different esport channels, between the Valorant NA East channel, Ninja was co-streaming it, TSM Myth was co-streaming it. Between all the channels combined, there was 250,000 people watching it, which
That's a lot of people.
doesn't seem like a dead esport to me. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna get up there. And I think so. It's very hard, I believe, to get into Call of Duty competitive because there's just so many people go in and they stay for a long time. But Valorant, I feel like, is a new esport, just like CS when it first came out, that you'll be able to improve and get better at. So yeah, that was the Valorant First Strike final. I got most of this information off of Esports Talk, the website. So thank you, Esports Talk, for providing the general public with that sick information. All right. Do you want to talk about the Post Malone Croc drop?
I do. I really do.
Okay. Okay, you can talk about
So
that.
yesterday they dropped, right? I
Yes,
believe
yesterday, which would be
December 8th,
Monday, December 8th.
and I think they are amazing. They have dropped 2 pairs of Crocs actually this time, so there's a total of, I think, 3. These Crocs are pretty much the same as the classic black and blue camo,
Yeah, I actually
except
have
for,
those right now.
yes, which Ryan
Pretty dope.
has a pair
Of
of,
course. Yes, yes.
and they are there is a black pair that are black, and then the inside of them are actually pink. And then the second pair are all electric pink, like a bright electric pink color, and I think they look sick. And me and Ryan actually popped a pair, each of us. He got the
Yes.
black,
I
I
got the
got the
black with
pink.
the pink inside.
Unfortunately, the gibbets were sold out, both sets.
Yeah, they did have some
They were
pretty cool
11 and
budgets.
9. They were 11.99
I
each, which
think
is
there was like screws, and I think was there like a banana or something,
no,
like a star.
the screws were for the old Crocs, like
Oh, were they?
the ones that you have.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'll actually look at it. Look right now what they are.
Okay, tell me what they are.
Yes, yes. I don't know if they're gonna show me them because it just keeps bringing me to the Crocs gibbets. But I will keep looking for those while I continue talking. So they're actually really cool Crocs. They have the strap, which I find like I don't know. I don't really like the strap on the back because I like having the strap in the forward positioning. But I mean, it's Velcro, so you can remove it. So I think that's cool.
Hey, Lizzie, could you do me a favor really quick? Could you take your phone off of the stool that your microphone is on?
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a rubber ducky gibbet.
Oh, is that what it is? It's a rubber ducky? I thought it was
There's
a
a rubber
banana.
ducky. There might be a banana. I think there's also a flamingo. I can't find them right now,
Oh, I do believe I found a flamingo. I saw a flamingo too.
but I believe they're pink themed.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Like, oh
Um,
wait, Post Malone has 4 pairs of Crocs.
yeah,
He has the yellow pair.
yeah, he had the regular. I think they were
Yellow
just looked like
pair.
regular
They were just
Crocs.
regular Crocs with a black interior, and they had like barbed wire on them.
Yeah, those were for the I believe it's Beer and Bentley's album that had
Yeah.
like the yellow CD case with the barbed wire around it.
Yeah, that must be.
Now, let me mention that Lizzie doesn't even like Post Malone.
Listen,
I
I
like
didn't say
Post
I
Malone,
don't like
but
Post Malone. I don't listen to his
all right,
music.
yes, I listen to Post Malone, but his Crocs are freaking dope, and I
They are
believe
dope.
they're more comfortable than regular Crocs because you always have the strap in the back that keep them on your feet. But that's just my opinion.
I
It's
love my Crocs. Like
it,
I just got the regular white Crocs and like I wear these shoes everywhere. Like it's cold right now here and it just snowed and I wore my Crocs. Like I don't care. Comfy as hell. Best pair of shoes. Thank
mind
you,
you, the
Crocs.
Post Malone Crocs are the only Crocs I've ever owned. So it might be a biased thing. Like they're my favorite Crocs because they're comfortable. But I mean, Lizzie's Crocs are like 3 sizes too small for my feet, but I still put them on every once in a while if I need, like when you like used to run outside as a child, so you put your mom's slippers on, or like anything that was by the door. It's like if I need to go outside really quick and Lizzie's Crocs are just by the door, well, I guess I'm putting them on, even though they're 3 sizes too small. You know what I'm saying?
He wears them often actually. So his feet are pretty much hanging out the back though.
Yeah, they're basically like slides at that point.
Which Crocs do make slides, which is awesome as well.
Birkin Crockin, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Which But I like Lizzie at first made fun of me for buying the first Post Malone Crocs because I don't know how much they were on drop, but when I bought them on Goat they were $116 and I got clowned a lot for buying those Crocs. They're
I
just all
I feel like that's really expensive for a pair of Crocs. But
but
I mean, they're comfy. I mean, if you like them, you like them, you know?
yeah, and then again I also do buy a lot of expensive shoes. Like I have shoes that are over $150, which honestly in this day and age for sneakers, like
Isn't that expensive?
like Nike sneakers and like Adidas sneakers isn't that expensive, weirdly, but I just like shoes. I slowed down a little since quarantine since I don't have anywhere to wear them. Like where am I gonna wear my nice shoes? To the kitchen when I eat dinner with my family? They'd be like, "Oh, Ryan, your new shoes are so." No, they don't give a fuck. Oh, we're trying to eat dinner. But when I went to school, people loved the shoes, you know what I'm saying? People were like, "Duh, those are dope. Like, where'd you get those?" Like, people wanted to be my friend because of my sick shoes. I'm just saying. But
Cannot relate.
now that I don't have that, like, what's the point of buying shoes? I literally only wear Crocs and these Nike like foam running shoes that have like the little balls in the bottom. So it's pretty pointless to buy shoes this day and age.
And if you want to see our Crocs when we get them, make sure to follow our Instagram and our Facebook because we will be posting them on those. They have
Our
not come
face,
in yet, but
yes, our Facebook is the Wave Drop Podcast, and what's our Insta? Because Lizzie created the Insta.
it is the dot wave drop dot podcast.
Yes, and if I could include that link somewhere in, I don't really know how podcasts work yet, but I will figure it out. You'll be able to find it somewhere. So that's good. What would you like to
Yes.
talk about next? Was a
Um.
Oh, by the way, we have a whole bunch of topics planned, so we're gonna talk about all the topics first, and then like after we're just gonna do some just bantering and talking about random things. So, should I do? Excuse me. Should I get the AirPods Max out of the way, and then we can talk about the random topics that we have up at the bottom?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, so the AirPods Max recently came out, and like you would think AirPods Max, like regular AirPods, they were just like little earbuds that you put in your ear, like pods. Like pods means small,
Hence
right?
the name Pod.
Hence the name pods. Well, the new AirPods Max, they're literal overhead headphones. They come in many different stylish colors. They're space gray, silver, green, sky blue, and pink. Now, they are aesthetically pleasing, very little on them. And they have a nice mesh top headband, like a suspension headband, because of how heavy they are. But that does not warrant the price tag of $549.
That's insane for a pair of headphones.
It's $299 more than the AirPod Pros.
Crazy.
So, and the only difference is they have a little crown on the side, like the Apple Watch that controls like the volume, the voice. playback, like all that kind of stuff. Um, and they have 20 hours of battery life. That's the only difference between the AirPods and the AirPod headphones. Excuse me. Um, which for less than that, for around 250 to $300, you could buy the Sony noise canceling headphones.
Yes, you can, but the only thing about those Sony headphones is they are very fragile. The headphone strap at the top, they're very brittle. So you gotta be careful because my friend broke at least 5 pairs of the same headphones. So
Which I don't know if it's totally the headphones problem,
maybe
but
it's her, but they could be a little bit more
I've
durable.
had the same Beats Solo 2s for literally 5 years now, and they've fallen off my head while playing basketball. I've thrown them. They've like fallen out of things, and they still haven't broke yet. So
I
I
have
don't,
gone through
yeah,
2 pairs of Beats Solo 3s,
I don't use
and
them anymore.
they work
But
great. I mean, I'm using my broken pair right now. The only thing about this is that the button doesn't work to turn them on. You just
yeah,
have to plug them in, which is an inconvenience because don't have a headphone jack on the phone anymore.
yeah, that's right.
But I have my brother's pair that he doesn't use, so we're just vibing out with these Solo 3s.
One mo.
Like, I'm a big supporter of Apple products, like the phones. I got an Apple Watch. MacBooks are nice. Those are also pretty pricey, but these
True.
are very, very pricey.
The
But I
the only
mean,
thing that
Apple's gonna sell them and people are gonna buy them because they're
yeah,
Apple.
they're already back ordered until January,
Crazy.
and every single color. The only thing I don't like about Apple is the desktops. I think the laptops like Mac OS and a portable what is it called? A portable structure, very useful. Easy file system. You can get what you need done. But in a desktop platform, I definitely think the way to go is Windows because you could get NVIDIA graphics cards, better hardware for things that you need. But for everything else, Apple is pretty much the best. They have like the best seamless headphone capabilities and connectivity. So, you
I
can say what
agree.
you want about it, but I'm pretty sure Apple is better. So, Lizzie, what would you like to talk about next on our podcast?
I actually would like to talk about how much of a struggle it is to be doing online schooling right now during this
Oh,
whole pandemic.
don't even get me started.
So, we both go to technical schools, which means we're in a class that teaches us a trade. So, we're not in academics every day of school. It's every few we're in each cycle like a week. So it's not
Yeah,
like the same as going to a public school where we're always in academics. But it's still really hard, especially if you have a hands-on trade like
yeah, like,
automotive, carpentry.
hmm like I'm in IST, or well, actually they changed it to IT now, so it's just informational technology. But it's just like your standard. Like in my school, it's coding, fixing the physical computer, graphic design, like all of the above. So for me, I have the capabilities to do it at home because I have a capable Windows laptop and a very capable Windows desktop. So for me, I chose to stay home when everything went down because it was just easier to not have to wake up at 5 in the morning. I could wake up 5 minutes before class starts and be on my computer. But for someone like Lizzie,
Yeah, it's more difficult because I am actually in collision repair. So working on cars is a big part of my trade. And it's not very easy to do on the computer because the only thing we can learn is theory work. Just going over how to do stuff, what different chemicals to use and what not to use, safety precautions and everything, but we can't do physical trade. Now, we had a hybrid option, so people can go into school, people
yeah,
can stay
for a
home
short while, I did
for a
actually go
short
in and
while.
out of school.
Yes, Ryan did go in and out of school, but
Pretty ass.
I like to go into school even though I had to wake up early and I had to take the bus all the way to school, which is a pretty long commute for me because my school's not close to where I live. It's about 30 minutes, almost an hour bus ride. So I chose to do hybrid. So I was doing hybrid. I was in school every day. I was in trade because my shop was very small. There was only 10 people and not everyone came, so there's only like 6 people in total and we worked on projects. And then school got closed completely and now we're all at home. So now I have to do trade at home on my computer doing loads and loads of bookwork,
Yeah,
which sucks.
imagine if your teacher just like handed you a fender and like it was just like, all right, go home and scrounge up some tools and go on a meet while I watch you and try to perform auto body things on this fender.
Like,
Now that
you can't do that
you
because
can't.
we need to be taught it, and we don't know if, especially if you don't have the tools, it's gonna be extremely hard.
I mean, Lizzie's fortunate enough to have the tools at her house
I I
if
am
she
fortunate enough to have tools like this from my father, but a lot of
but like
people in my shop aren't.
other kids don't have the money.
They don't have the money, and they don't have the supplies, and they don't have the workspace. They
Yeah.
don't have somewhere to work or to practice, so at school is their only option, and it really sucks. And it's hard enough doing the work on just book work because we have to read like a whole 40-page chapter and then answer these questions, and it's just like a mess for shop, in
Yes,
my
yes.
opinion.
I mean, like, there's plenty of kids that are not as fortunate as me in my school too that do a physical trade that are definitely gonna struggle a little bit.
And it
The
sucks because if people want to go out and do work-based learning next year, because unfortunately we can't do it this year as
Yeah.
juniors because of this whole pandemic.
Well, I mean, I can in my
People
school,
might,
but
well, that's different. But
okay.
well, like new people can't go out, like the people that
Oh,
already
yeah,
were.
yeah,
So it's like a struggle because if you want to go out on work-based learning, you just missed almost half of a year, almost a whole year of hands-on work and training at school. So you might not get hired or you might have to be trained more at your job, which could be really inconvenient for the place that might hire you.
yeah. Like, how are you gonna? You're gonna go to a trade school because obviously you don't want to go to college. Most people don't want to go to
Most
college.
people, right?
But how are you gonna go to a trade school but you just can't learn your trade? So what are you gonna do after school? You're gonna be screwed. After you get out of high school, you're not gonna be able to find a job because you don't know the trades that everybody else does out of high school, like every other year did. Granted, we still have our senior year hopefully to look forward to,
Yes,
but all the seniors this year definitely got screwed over.
for sure. And the seniors last year, who got most of their year, but still didn't have an end of year. Some
Yeah,
people didn't even have a graduation or proms.
exactly. But it's not
Um,
just the personal struggle. It's also a struggle. Like some of the teachers just don't
they
know
don't
how
know
to do this.
technology.
No, like
They are struggling, and they're
like
asking the students how to do things.
yes, like for example, I have a science teacher. You guys probably know because everybody that's listening to this podcast is obviously really hip because we're pretty
Yeah,
hip.
totally.
But I have this teacher, not going to mention her name, obviously, but she like when she does a lot of things on our projector. Like we do go through a lot of PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff. But instead of presenting it in the Google Meet, what she does instead is she sets the Chromebook up in front of the projector and like teaches like that. And I mean, it wouldn't be that bad if like projectors were like easy to see and Chromebooks weren't shitty. But like because the projector has such dull colors, you can't ever tell what we're looking at. And it's always pixelated because internet and all this and that. It just doesn't really work, you know?
Yeah, and my school just issued out an email to everybody. Now, me and Ryan don't go to the same school, but they just issued out that they want everyone to use their school Chromebooks that we were given. Now, my problem with that is Chromebooks are extremely slow. They're probably the worst laptop ever because they're so cheap. Like
Yeah, the only
they're
reason they
good.
can run
They're good for just doing work. It can't hold a Meet and a Google Doc at the same time. It's extremely slow, and the doc won't load.
The only reason they're able to run like they are is because of Chrome OS. Like, because of the software they have on them. If there was Windows or Mac OS on there, you wouldn't even be able to get past the home screen. Like, it wouldn't let you.
Um, but they want us to use our school issue Chromebooks, and am I refuse to use mine because for a long time I used a Chromebook until I was fortunate enough to get this MacBook. Thank you, Ryan, for
Welcome.
letting me borrow it. Um, and it was so bad. It took me like 3 minutes to load into a Meet, um, which would make me late to class. And I can't open a doc and type on a doc while having a Meet open. And it's extremely hard to get work done while your teacher is talking and they're trying to do work with you and they're going fast and you're typing and it's just not showing up because the doc won't load. It's just like a pain in the ass, a real pain in the ass.
And then there's the struggle of having to listen to other students, not listen to directions. In that same
Yeah.
class, I have two people that will forever ask unlimited questions during this class. We were just taking a test today, and about 10 people showed up late, so they were asking what we were doing, what the session ID was, what their student ID was, and then this one person was putting the session ID and their student ID. Actually, no, she wrote down her student ID wrong. So for about 10 minutes, she was complaining to my teacher it wasn't working, and then when my teacher gave her new student ID, she was like, "Oh, is this the one you gave us? Because I don't remember that." Something like that. But it's also just like some kids just don't listen. Like, come on.
Like,
Like,
I
you gotta listen.
understand that it's hard to work from home. There are many distractions. Or if you need like extra help from a teacher, it's hard because you can't have them with you while you're in class helping you. Again, it's hard, but you need to people I feel like people aren't trying when they're at home. They don't care. They just want to
Yes.
sit through the meet and get everything over with. I'm pretty sure half the people just turn the meet on and walk away and do something else, or they play games, or they don't pay attention at all. It's not going to be good when we actually have to, like, when you have to take your PSATs and you don't know what to do. Good thing we have
Yeah, exactly.
PSATs, but just
So,
gotta pay attention.
I honestly, all the teachers are wishing that we'd be back, and obviously, I want to be back in school full time. But I would rather be home full time until we could be in full time. I don't want to do hybrid again. That was like, well, I guess for the people that have physical trade, it would be good. But like for me, I don't want to be in until we're fully in. Like, I just don't
Yeah,
care to go
that
back
makes
in.
sense.
Which I'm hoping is going to be this summer because the vaccine is supposed to be coming out, and we're probably going to go into a shutdown again. So we'll probably all not have COVID at some point, or it'll be more
Hopefully.
controlled at one point. But
Right.
yeah, school is scuffed this year, and I'm pretty sure if you guys are in school still, for all the listeners,
You
your
can
school is
relate.
probably scuffed too in some way. Like schools are even having staff shortages. That's why people can't come in. Or even like Lizzie's school. Do you want to talk about your teacher that is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
quarantining?
So currently, the start of the school year, obviously everyone's given their schedules and everything. So I was given this teacher for my honors chemistry class. Come to find out, my teacher doesn't teach. Like, she's my teacher, but she can't teach because of something going on. She can't come to school, anything. So we have to have a different teacher teach. Now, my class is honors chemistry, and the class that this other teacher teaches is regular chemistry, and our periods are at the same time, but we are learning the same things. Like, that teacher logs into our meet, and we go off of her regular chemistry class. Like, we're not like more advanced, we're not like anything. It's just like a regular chemistry class, which is, I guess, fine, but like, I mean, I signed up for honors chemistry. I wanted to do that. And it sucks that I can't go to school for chemistry and do anything. I just have to do everything online and it's so boring. But now my teacher my replacement teacher is quarantined because her son has to quarantine, and she can't teach from home
which
because
is very
well,
odd, actually.
because the whatever won't let them will let her teach from home. So now I just have to sit in a meet with the sub originally for my chemistry class. While we sit there in silence and do nothing, and we have to work on whatever this teacher posts in the classroom. And it's hard because we can't ask questions now because there's no teacher to answer any questions because the sub doesn't know anything. And she didn't
Yeah.
even know that my replacement teacher couldn't even teach until I told her, "Yo, she can't teach." She said this in a video she posted on Classroom. Why don't you check the classroom? Like, it's not that hard. You tell us to check the classroom, so why don't you do it once in a while, you know?
Yeah, but, like, the bother thing the bothersome thing is that, okay, they don't want her to teach from home, but that's also, like, hurting the students. Like, why
We're
wouldn't
not
you just l
learning.
yeah, why wouldn't you just let her teach from home? And also, she's not getting paid, so her family's probably struggling in some way now. So, like, why I don't if we could learn from home, they should be able to teach from home if they have to quarantine.
Exactly.
It's not
Like,
like they could pass the germs over the camera.
exactly. Like, also, we had a teacher out in my school who actually had COVID. Like, she actually got COVID. And she taught from home. And then my shop teacher, he was out because he had a doctor's appointment for something and he had to be out for 3 days. He taught from home, except for one day where he couldn't teach. But we had my other shop teacher because there's two. So, like, at least we had that backup support from my other shop teacher because he obviously knows all the information. But, like, it's just like, why won't you let like, she teaches twice as many classes as she should be, and now she can't teach. Like, you're affecting almost the whole 11th grade. So it's just, like, crazy.
It's very, very odd. Um, I think that's a is that enough for school, or should we keep going?
Yeah, because I could keep going on for, like,
Yeah,
3 hours about
me
this.
too, me
I don't
too.
think
It's
anyone wants to hear
pretty
that.
horrible. What else we got? We want to give actually Cold War's been out for a little while. I mean, we could give our initial thoughts on Cold War because I do enjoy it, but or we can move on to something different. What do you think?
I think we should go talk about something different, and then if we
Okay.
need something to add, we can talk about Cold War because it's already yeah, like you said,
All
it's
right.
been out.
I'm gonna talk about refurbished items. So
Yes.
I bought. Right now I'm recording on a Blue Yeti. Now this is the second one I bought actually. The first one I bought was a refurbished one, and I thought it was gonna be good because I've bought a Logitech steering wheel, a Logitech mouse. I've bought some things from Apple that were refurbished.
I bought my Apple Watch is refurbished, I've bought an iPad refurbished.
Just like they they always work. So I was just like, oh, this is definitely gonna work. So the first Blue Yeti I bought, just didn't work. It was refurbished. I had faith, it didn't work. So I ended up buying a brand new one right from Blue that came and it worked obviously because I'm recording on it. But yesterday I opened up the refurbished one because I wanted to see if I could fix it because I just think it's something as simple as the USB port is bad or something. And I realized that under the microphone there's this little plastic piece that like holds the mesh grill from actually hitting the microphones on the inside, and it was clearly 3D printed.
Yeah, you could tell that it obviously wasn't the original part because he has one that he's taken apart that works, and it was totally different, and you could
It was
see,
just a
like, the
black piece of
lines.
plastic.
You can see the lines from the 3D print,
So that
like
makes me
how
think
layers.
that before it got refurbished, the top of it or like the mesh part of it or something was smashed. Because why else would that have to be replaced, or I don't know. But it also looks like the USB port was replaced too because it looked like new solder. So I ended up buying solder and a new USB port and some copper wire, and I'm gonna try to fix that microphone because the microphone I'm using right now is actually supposed to be on my setup downstairs, but I brought it up here just for the podcast. So hopefully I can fix that one so I can have one in both places, obviously. But moral of the story: just make sure you check the reviews on the refurbished page before you buy it refurbished.
And if you could buy something refurbished off the company itself, like
Yeah,
Apple, because
like
if it
yeah,
comes from the company itself, it has to be. good, like, the company refurbished it, so it's
They
usually in
have
better
they have a
quality,
lot more liability than a small random company has.
like off eBay or
Yeah.
something.
Um. So yeah, that's pretty good for refurbished. Everything else, I would recommend buying refurbished if it was from the main company because
I
it's
would
usually a lot
also
cheaper.
or I would recommend buying from the source itself, not eBay, because my dad bought me my first pair of Beat Solos, um, for Christmas last year, actually, and he bought them off eBay because it was cheaper than buying them, and obviously we're not, like, rich, so he wanted to do a cheaper alternative, and he bought me and my brother a pair. My brothers came in, they were actually Beat Solos, but mine were fake. You could tell they were
Where are
fake.
they?
They were
Damn.
fake, yep. And my dad was so mad. He didn't, cause on the box looks real, and then I was like, "Oh, my headphones won't connect to my phone." So, then we, like, compared them to my brother's, and we can tell, like, the boxes were slightly different, the stickers
Mm-hmm.
on the headphones were different, and the fact that they didn't connect to my
Connect to your
phone.
phone.
So my
Yeah,
dad
that
was
would
really
probably.
mad. So he got his money back, and he sent it
Well, at
back.
least he was able to get his money
And yeah.
back. Usually on
Yeah.
eBay, you just can't get it back.
Yeah, and then he bought me a new pair, so
That's good.
I went from fake Beats to real Beats, and I'm very thankful
Wow.
for my dad buying me a new pair. Thanks,
Yeah,
Daddy.
that would suck otherwise.
Would. Yeah.
Um, let's see. I want to talk about how one of the best shows of all time is definitely The Office.
Oh, hands down, The
Now,
Office. It's like the number one show in the whole
yes.
world.
So
That's
before
probably I didn't fact check that, so don't
yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't tell me I'm wrong, because I don't know the actual answer.
So before I met Lizzie, I watched one episode of The Office. I was like, damn, this shit trash. Never watching it. And I praised Parks and Rec.
Right. And
Granted, Parks and Rec is a good show.
Parks and Rec is a great show. And if you know anything about The Office and Parks and Rec, you know that they're by the same producers. They got some of the same actors in them because they're by the same people. So they're very similar. They're both mockumentaries, which I love mockumentaries. I think they're so funny. And so you
But
know that they both have good comedy and good writing. And now I believe that Ryan didn't like The Office because he watched the first episode of the first
yes,
season.
I'm pretty sure the first
As
season was
one
just
does,
very odd.
starts with the first season and the first episode, obviously. But if you watch the first season, it's not alright. I mean, it's alright. It's not the best. Obviously, it gets better because it was only the first
Obvious,
season. There
yeah,
was only
obviously
6
it wasn't great
episodes.
because I just
There's
didn't
only
want to
6
watch it.
episodes, and a lot of people don't like it, like the first episode, or you gotta watch the rest of the season or even just skip to season 2, but there are some good episodes in season 1 that I recommend you watch season
May
1.
may I never
Just
know
be
what those
patient.
episodes are.
You can watch them.
I'm not watching them. I'm going
Okay.
straight to two if I ever every time I rewatch it.
So, I love The Office so much. I've watched it, 10 times the past 3 years. I think it's a great show.
Yeah, every time we watch it, she quotes every single episode at least once.
Yeah, I do. Oops.
But the bullshit is that it's getting taken off Netflix to go onto this
And
free
that
streaming service,
called Peacock, where
Peacock.
actually Parks and Rec already went in October. They took it off and put it on Peacock. NBC, if you're listening, I love your shows, but I hate you for taking your good shows off Netflix.
Yeah, okay, so Peacock is free, but there's ads. Like on
And you
Netflix,
gotta
you could
pay
just
like
yeah, it's horrible.
$5.99 for it to
Yeah,
be
I'm
no
not trying to
ads.
pay for this 10 million different subscription services. I want all my good shows on one place. Like why is that so hard to do for people?
I
Who
I don't
the
know.
world may never know.
But
But if you have not watched The Office already, I would recommend.
highly
If
recommend.
you're looking more for a mysterious kind of like a puzzle solving show, definitely
Definitely Criminal
Criminal
Minds.
Minds have been out for since like 2000 and what? Like 17? No, wait.
17.
Wait, I'm an idiot. Like 2010, right? Or like
No.
shit. Hold on, I gotta fact check myself. Let's see. When
It's
did
been out
Criminal?
for a very long time, 2005.
Okay,
So pretty
Criminal
much
Minds
as
came
old
out in
as we are.
2005. Yes, pretty. Holy shit.
Clearly, Ryan doesn't know his Criminal Minds.
No, I just watch the show and enjoy it, but it's extremely good show. Sometimes I enjoy it more than The Office. Lizzie doesn't like watching it as much just because the episodes are longer,
Yes.
and she can't really sit through long episodes. I could watch a whole season of Criminal Minds in one day if I really wanted to, but
Yeah,
she
I
won't
can't
let
do
me
that.
because we watch it together.
We do watch it together, and we watch The Office together, even though I've
That's,
seen it.
that's
I
definitely
just
another
can't.
show I would recommend if you've not watched it already.
And
So,
thank you to Amazon for supplying the all 9 seasons of The Office on DVD.
yes, because I'm not watching it on
That
Peacock.
saved my life.
Fuck that.
Because Netflix really did us dirty. Well, not Netflix, but
Yeah, Netflix didn't have
NBC did us dirty.
yeah.
Really did us dirty here.
Um,
Also, they took off That 70s Show. And I
I
think, I
never
don't know.
watched that.
I I loved that show as well. It's a very good show. It's also kind of like
Gotcha.
one of those comedy, witty shows that are stupid. It came out in '98. It's like an older show, but
Mm.
it's still
You can
good.
definitely tell it's older when you watch it.
Yeah, you can because all the actors and actresses they look really young. Mila Kunis was only 14, I think 13 or 14 when they started, and now she's what in her 40s and married to
Yeah,
Ashton Kutcher,
probably.
who
Ashton
is also
Kutcher.
in the show.
And he also gets mentioned a lot in The Office. For some reason, people love Ashton
Ashton
Kutcher.
Kutcher, because he's a good-looking guy.
Is he? I've never seen him.
He's a good-looking guy. Wow, you never seen Ashton Kutcher?
No, I'll look him up after the podcast.
Good, you
Maybe I'll
should.
fall. Maybe I'll fall in love. Just kidding. I'm already
Definitely.
in love with Lizzie. Anyway, um, there
But
is one thing that this is totally different topic. By the way.
oh, okay.
Oh, did you want to say something on the topic before I go off to another one? No.
No,
Okay.
you can go to a new topic. It's fine.
So as we were setting up this podcast, everything was straightforward except for Facebook. Like,
Yeah.
come on, Facebook. Why do you have to be so difficult?
Mark Zuckerberg, really?
So I was making a business page. You know, on Facebook they have like business pages for like restaurants and stuff. So I was making one for the podcast, so you can like it. You get updates when we make a new podcast. Which, by the way, will probably be once a week on Wednesdays. We'll record on Wednesdays. It'll probably be up by Friday, hopefully, because that'll give me the rest of today and Thursday to edit it. But anyway, so I made my original profile that's linked to the account, which I didn't know was gonna show up. I thought it was just gonna be the business page, but then I figured out how to connect the business page to it. So I made the business page, and then for a whole like day, I couldn't find it. The only way I could find it is if I go onto my computer and literally click on the tab that says business page or like quick tabs, and it shows the page. But turns out they don't give you there's no like fine print or warning or anything that it'll take a day before it shows up because they have to like approve it and everything. So the next day it was there, but like why couldn't you give me like a little print or something that would tell me
Like a
that's how it
heads
works?
up. Like,
Like a
yo,
heads up.
it's gonna
'Cause
take a little bit.
I was severely pissed off.
And obviously, Facebook bought Instagram. And I was making
Yes.
our little Instagram, and I was trying to connect Facebook and Instagram. And there was a thing where you can connect to an existing Facebook account. So I clicked it, and it just kept bringing me, it would load, and then it would automatically bring me to create a Facebook page. Create a Facebook page. I don't want to create a Facebook page. That's why I clicked connect to an existing Facebook account. And it kept bringing me to create a new Facebook account, and I was just getting annoyed. And then I gave up. And I haven't tried since.
Yeah.
But that's a little annoying as well.
Yeah, we probably
But
don't
I
need to link that
guess
anyway.
that's the stuff we go through when we're trying to make a podcast, you know?
Yeah. Which I think is going pretty well so far. We've definitely talked for almost an hour, and this has been fun. I can see why people do podcasts.
They are very fun, and I like listening to podcasts.
Me too. Maybe I'll even listen to our own podcast while I'm doing school.
Weirdo.
I gotta make sure it's quality assurance. Quality
Okay.
assurance.
Quality
No,
assurance.
I
Yeah.
probably won't listen to it. I'll probably listen to like the EavesDrop podcast or something like that, or Daddy or what? Fuck, I forgot. Hold on, this podcast. Hold on, it's called Hold on. What is it?
I'm concerned.
I'm on on Spotify. Uh,
Currently, I'm listening to my cat meow outside my
it's called
door.
Call Her Daddy. It's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good
Call her
podcast.
daddy.
Yes, yes.
Intrigued. Who's that by?
Fuck. It's hosted by Barstool Sports,
Uh huh.
but the host of it is let me see here. Uh, Alex Cooper. Her name is Alex Cooper.
Oh,
So yeah, it's just like they talk about a lot of things that most people wouldn't talk about, and they give guys advice on dating and stuff. So all you lonely men out there, you should go watch. You should go listen to that podcast.
just like Ryan. He probably used that to get me.
Capricorn, Cap. Put some respect on my name. It was just my natural charm, okay, guys. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Sure.
yeah.
Just
What?
kidding. He's very charming.
Good. So, we got anything else to talk about?
Dude, can we talk about podcasts for a minute?
Oh yeah, we could talk about podcasts.
Dude, I love a good funny podcast or
Yes,
like
yes.
an entertaining podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna open up my podcast app right
I'm
now.
more of a. I'll talk about my podcast when you do that. I'm more of an
Yeah.
informative information kind of guy. So I like watching the Eavesdrop podcast by Optic Hex. He's the owner of Optic again. Um, f- he owned it in 2016, and then a whole bunch of stuff happened. He lost it for 4 years, and now he has it back currently. So the green wall is back, but the whole time he was running his podcast, the Eavesdrop, where he talks about esports, like mostly Call of Duty esports players and the life of an owner and Call of Duty esports in general. Sometimes I do listen to some of the tech podcasts I have. I listen to Logan Paul's podcast every once in a while, Impulsive. And for like a whole year of my life, I used to listen to a few tech podcasts. One was called ATP, I believe. It was just like about random tech, and yeah, it's pretty good. I do sometimes listen to Call Her Daddy. It's a good show. If there are any parents or my parents listening, don't listen to it. You wouldn't like it, trust me. Um,
The
but yeah,
podcast I like to
yeah.
listen to is obviously The Office Ladies. Come on. I
I
love
forgot
Jenna
about that one.
Fisher. I
Yes,
love
yes.
Jenna Fisher and I love Angela Kinsey. I think they're very funny on the show. And I just think they're just best friends in real life. And I think that's amazing. And they do a podcast together about the show, explaining each episode. Each episode they run through what goes on, and I think that's really cool. And they give you like special insight and stuff. I also like
Mm,
to once in a while I listen to Views by David Dobrik and Jason Ash. I haven't really listened to that in a while. As well as The Basement Yard by Joe Santagato.
mm.
But I haven't listened to podcasts in a minute. I
Ooh,
also
I
like
also
listening to the Jenna Julian podcast, but I'm pretty sure they don't make any more episodes, which is
yeah, probably
very
not
sad
because
because
Jenna got
Jenna got
canceled.
canceled for no reason. I'm pissed about that. I love Jenna so much. She's so funny. I've recently been rewatching her and Julian's videos
Every day. There's a
nonstop.
video from like 4 years ago.
Dude, I watched a Vlogmas video from 2016 earlier today. Like, I love them. I think they're so funny. I think they're great together. I think they're
Oh,
the
I
best
also
couple on the internet.
I forgot a podcast that I watched. I also listened to the 100 Thieves podcast. That's by Nate Shot and Courage JD. They usually have a whole plethora of people. They have COD pros. They have people that just stream. They have business owners, like a whole bunch of stuff. I would highly recommend that podcast if you're into that kind of stuff. It's a pretty dope podcast.
It
You have
sounds
anything?
pretty dope.
You have anything else on podcasts?
I don't
Do not.
know.
I want to talk about something that happened to me today that really angered me. So I was making hot chocolate in a Keurig, right? So I instead of using a K cup, I got Swiss mix, and I was just gonna use the Keurig for the hot water.
As one would.
Yeah, so I put the water in the Keurig, I put the mix in the bottom of my cup, I put my cup obviously in the Keurig, but I did not remember to check if there was already a K-cup inside of the uh, Keurig.
In the
So
Keurig,
I
which you
hit
should always do because people
yeah,
forget all the time to take them out.
yeah. It's kind of annoying, honestly. But anyway, um, so it was brewing, and I looked at it to make sure that the water was going in there, and realized that there was coffee coming out, like old coffee coming out. So I was like, ah, shit. So I stopped it. I opened the thing, and I took the K-cup out, and I was staring at it, and I was like, what do I pour out the cup of hot chocolate? I was like, I don't want to do that because hot chocolate's fire. So I took the K-cup out, and I let the rest of the water brew, or like just heat up and go into it. And I was like, well, I guess I'm drinking half coffee, half hot chocolate, and that's what I did. And actually didn't taste that bad.
I made some fire hot chocolate today with my Keurig because the only K-cups we have are hot chocolate currently because we just got our Keurig. My brother just bought it because my dad broke his coffee maker because he had just had a little tiny one because he's the only one who drinks coffee. So he's just been making coffee out of a little French press. So I was making some hot chocolate, and now I was using a big mug. So I clicked like the bigger mug option, and like
Mm,
I want all the chocolatey goodness of that hot chocolate.
yeah.
So like when I
Big.
started seeing just the water come out, no more hot chocolate, I took my mug out and I put another mug in because I didn't want the extra water to water it down. So it was fire. I added um some heavy whipping cream actually because it's like creamer, but you make whipped cream out of it. And I didn't have whipped cream, so I just did a double whammy, and I think it's very good. It gives it like the whipped cream taste without
I don't
having
doubt
whipped
it.
cream.
Yeah.
I
So
recommend you try it.
like when I make my hot chocolate, I use half and half, and then I put more whipped cream in it, so it's just like all the creamy goodness, you know. Um, but oh, and as for the podcast, this just came to my brain. I haven't made the YouTube channel for her yet, but there will definitely be a YouTube channel for the WaveDrop podcast. It will most likely be called the WaveDrop podcast, and it'll have the same logo. And so if your preferred way of listening is on YouTube, you will have it on there too. And it,
We
it, it
got
will
you.
be it should be on every major platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast,
SoundCloud.
all of the yes. Wait, I don't know. SoundCloud might be separate. We might have to post it ourselves if we put on SoundCloud.
All right.
But I think Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the other apps are good enough. But anyway, um, I think we've been recording for an hour
I have no clue.
because I think we
I don't
started
think
at
Discord
12.
tells.
I think we started
12:18.
recording at 12. Yeah, 12:18. So
Thank you,
it's like an
Discord.
hour.
And thank you, Craig.
So I think that was our first podcast.
I think so. And I had
Thank
fun.
you. Did you? I had fun too. This is definitely I love creating, so this is gonna be a good way
This
of
is a
creating
wave.
and us to just talk to each other and
Not like
have
we
fun
don't
with
do
it.
that anyways, but
No, we never talk to each other. Why would we do
never.
that?
Yeah,
Weird.
we're not
Anyway,
dating. That's gross.
yes, weird. But thank you to all the listeners, if there are any. We appreciate
We
you.
appreciate you very
Um,
much.
if there's if you're listening on YouTube or someplace that has comments, please tell us how it is, or you could comment on our post on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe we'll even make a
Give
Twitter.
us
I don't
some
know yet.
advice. Give us some
Yes.
like compliments or like tell us what we can do better.
Yeah, constructive criticism, guys.
Yes.
Don't be haters. If you're a hater, nobody likes you. But constructive criticism is allowed.
It is allowed, and we won't
Okay.
take it personal because this is our first podcast, the first time doing anything like this. Except for one time for Ryan's Christmas list, we did record my voice on every slide,
Yes,
and it was a vibe.
that was fun. But anyway, thank you for listening to our podcast,
Yes,
and
thank you.
we will catch you next Friday.
On the flippity flip.
Peace out.